Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to be off camera for this streams because it's kind of been a long day for me, and I will be getting up on the fairly early side tomorrow. But I'll be on camera tomorrow evening for the reading stream. So I figured it's just a movie, basically movie list discussion stream, so don't need exactly to be on camera for anything like this. I'm not showing anything. But anyway, welcome everyone. It's our monthly top 10, and we are talking our personal top 10 2007 films. These films are not necessarily objectively good. They might not be liked by everyone in the chat, but they are subjectively good to us for whatever reason we choose to give. And Michael, you can get that blasphemy out of the chat. But anyway, before I say hello to the chat, Steve, let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, here once a month, and sometimes on Miss Morton Muses' channel. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. So, nothing much to plug. Yep. Not that I ever plugged anything, to be honest.
So
on YouTube, anyway.
I could make a joke about that, but
yeah, no, I
one.
Heard it in my head.
Yeah, I like as soon as you said it, I was like, "Did I say anything?"
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yes, you always do that. You know, if someone throws a ball at you, you have to swing the bat.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Well, it's bad. The moment's passed now.
Yeah, but I was like, "Oh, did he realize how he phrased that?" Anyway,
didn't you get me good on D&D the other day or a couple of times ago?
Yeah. I did. I can't remember what I said. I just remember it was like, it was like a burn. I can't remember.
Yeah, I got an 8 out of 10. It was completely out of the left field too. No warning. Boom.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Pretty much. Yeah. Anthony, good to see you. Trey, what's up? Yeah, I know. And I know what Trey's number 1 is because I had to correct him on the actual release date.
Yeah, last time.
Yeah, and this is my PayPal, so do you choose to donate here rather than YouTube? Appreciate it.
I never do that. I just send food.
I'm not playing Overwatch. I don't care if it's free. I'm not playing that. Yeah, James Vanderbeek, rest in peace. He was only 48, which is just mind-blowing. Yeah. But he,
10 years younger than you.
So it's just me for a little bit, chat. But yeah, he's only 48, and he the cancer he had, he couldn't fight it. Soul Assassin, hello. Mike Hill, hello. There he goes, Mike Hill. Good to see you. You got your list, Mr. Grimm. All right. I didn't kick him. I just put him in the back.
Yeah, it's like that's mild abuse I get from Aura, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
Anyway, so for those who are new to these streams, Stieg, I keep making him do this. Stieg rolls the die, a D20 die, to see who goes first.
And this proves I'm honest.
Yeah,
because I always fucking lose.
Yeah. So
this is like the 27th episode we've done, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
28th, actually, because 80 counted. So, yeah, we've been doing this for 28 months.
So, yeah. So, a little over 2 years.
Yeah, and I've lost 28 times in a row.
Yeah, I can't win the fucking lottery to save my life, but I can somehow pick the role. We'll see, because there's always a chance for one time. Always a chance for one time, but I'm gonna go with 1 through 10.
1 through 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 7.
All right, chat. So I start basically go from our 10 down to our number 1. Again, this is subjective, so chances are I'll have some on my list that you don't like, or you're gonna be like, why do you like that? My first one is.
I think we might have 3 crossovers today.
Possibly. My first one is a film adaptation of a musical. I have never seen the musical, so I cannot compare the film adaptation. Hey, thank you for member message, Mike Hill, sub member for 15 months. Appreciate it. So I cannot compare to the two, but I do like the film adaptation mainly because of the Tim Burton aesthetic to it. I'm always kind of a sucker, even if the movie is not good. I'm always kind of a sucker for how like the Tim Burton aesthetic and the cinematography, the setting, the costume design in Tim Burton films. And this one for my number 10 is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Still haven't seen that one.
No. I think it got panned or it didn't exactly bomb, I don't think, but I think it got panned when it came out. And that's because I guess, well, it's Tim Burton's take. And when I say take, I mean like his style on the Sweeney Todd musical. Right? So, but like I said, I overall enjoyed, mainly because I overall enjoy Tim Burton films. Stars Johnny Depp. He basically is a staple in Tim Burton films, or for the most part, he was. And I think Tim Burton was still with Helena Bonham Carter at this time because she's in it as well. But the overall premise of the movie is Sweeney Todd, played by Johnny Depp, he's an English barber, all right? Turned serial killer. And he's returned to London to seek revenge against this judge who wrongfully convicted him and pretty much kicked him out of London, exiled him, for the sole purpose of stealing Sweeney Todd's wife. Pretty much. All right? So Sweeney Todd has returned to seek vengeance against this judge played by Alan Rickman. And through the process of his vengeance to get to this judge, he, along with Mrs. Lovett, Helena Bonham Carter's character, basically, he murders his customers. Basically, he's the demon barber of Fleet Street. He murders his customers, and then Mrs. Lovett helps him get rid of the bodies by processing the corpses into meat pies, which she serves to customers. So, that's the overall premise of the basically the play itself, and it leads up to, and I don't want to give the ending away or anything, but it leads up to confrontation with Sweeney Todd and the judge. So it also stars Timothy Spall, Sacha Baron Cohen, and so forth. Like the big names are Johnny Depp, obviously, and Helena Bonham Carter and Alan Rickman in this film. Like I said, I think when it initially came out, it kind of got panned. I remember, I don't remember many positive things said about it. I'm not saying it was it bombed or anything, but I think for the most part, people were comparing it to the actual musical because it is a famous musical. And when you have Tim Burton's take on it in terms of his style and so forth, I guess the musical fans didn't exactly appreciate that. So, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. And if it were on again, I would watch it because I like Tim Burton's style. So I put Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, at number 10.
I'll actually I'll add it to stuff to watch
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to always, well, not always, but I'm trying to watch more stuff that I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, my number 10 is Rogue, a crocodile movie from Australia, starring Sam Worthington and the blonde chick from Pitch Black. I forget her name. It's based on a true story. Tourists on a boat gets attacked by a giant croc. Uh, their boat gets tipped over, and they almost make it to shore. They're on a little rock with the croc nearby, trying to pick them off one by one. It's freaking awesome. You wouldn't think it, but a big croc eats people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is. The crocodile looks good. It's really, really well made for a movie like that. And I don't think the budget is sky high, but it does what it's supposed to do incredibly well. And this event happened in Australia. I'm sure they embellished the movie, but yeah, Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rhoda Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's her name.
I had to watch it finally. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
I think you'll like it. It's kind of campy, but pretty grim as well. So survival horror almost, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I believe so. It'd be along those lines.
Yeah. And I'm to do number 9.
So
Yes.
yeah, I know. It's like it's one of those where it's like that's part of the reason why I'm avoiding it, Anthony. So
Well, yeah, I'm supposed to do 9, right?
yes.
And then you do 9 and 8. Okay, my number 9. I'm thinking I'm probably torpedoing one of yours. 30 Days of Night.
Nope.
Really?
I'm not a fan of that movie. I think it's not a good vampire movie. I mean, the vampires themselves are scary, but I think overall it's not a good vampire movie.
I always thought you liked that one.
No, I pointed out the biggest plot hole ever in that film, and I was like, this makes absolutely that plot hole, and the fact that the vampires pretty much murder every motherfucker that's left in the town in one fucking night. And I'm like, you assholes, what are you doing for the other 29?
Yeah.
I think it was a slow burn where they're picking off a person here and there throughout the 30 days, and it's like a mystery and what's going on. Fine, but they fucking massacre these people in one fucking night, and I'm like, you fuckheads, what are you gonna do for the next 28, 29 days?
Eat frozen food?
I'm like, what? Like, they literally killed off their entire fucking food source in one fucking night. That's the most retarded thing I've ever fucking seen.
It's true. It is a gigantic plot hole, but I still like it.
Sorry. Anyway, no, it did not make my list because of that. So.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That is a plot hole. Plus, what are they going to do when summertime hits? It'll be daylight 24/7.
Pretty much.
Because they crashed a ship.
Yeah, they crashed a ship, and their mode of transportation, they're fucked. What the hell?
Yeah. So anyway, vampires attack. I guess it's like a small settlement way up north. They crash a ship there and basically pick off the small town. Starring what's his name?
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the sheriff or something of the town. So.
Yeah. They run afoul of the vampires and they need to survive. These vampires are monsters, though. Finally,
which I'm fine with. But like I said, if they had slowly began picking people off, and then it became like the last week or so a fight for survival because now they figured out what's going on.
Yeah,
it would make sense.
Absolutely, it would have made sense. But I still like it. Kind of, guilty pleasure movie, right? And I think I like it because I give it extra points for the vampires being actually monsters, not emo people.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
so
isn't there like a little girl vampire? Because I think she was really fucking creepy.
all the vampires were creepy. I thought.
I know, but like just when it's a child, it just adds to the creepiness.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene, and I was like, okay, that's a good scene.
Yeah.
Too bad too bad, in my opinion, it's in a crap movie.
Yeah. All they had to do was work on the script more. Have it make sense.
Yeah.
And it would have been a classic. This is a guilty pleasure movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Again, chat. Like it's like the movies on our list don't necessarily have to be like the best.
No.
Like.
Absolutely not. We've had plenty of stinkers.
Yeah.
But 30 Days of Night. Just if you have an evening and just want to watch vampires kill people, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much that's the plot. So, and the Renfield character was useless.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, all right. So, I'm sorry. You done?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 9 is very likely a movie that most people have not seen. I can just about guarantee that most of you have not seen this. I could be wrong, but I doubt many people have seen this because it is based off a book by the same name, written by I believe he's Afghani. His name is Khaled Hosseini. Khaled Hosseini. I'm probably butchering pronunciation of the first name. And that is The Kite Runner. It's based on a 2003 novel, which I have read, and a movie was made about 4 years later. It's set in Afghanistan, right? And basically it goes back and forth between present day, or what was present day in the book, and basically the late 1970s Afghanistan, when the main character, who is an author, like an Afghan-American author, he's moved to America. That's like you said, it's like basically, so in 2000, basically, it's like that's the present day, and it goes back to like 1978, 79, thereabouts, when he was about 10 years old, and it follows in the flashbacks. We see him growing up with his best friend. Like the main character is called Amir, and his best friend is Hassan, right? And the reason why it was kind of like, I don't want to say necessarily major, but kind of like big that these two kids were friends, because Amir is Pashtun. Now, all right, Pashtun is like, if anybody knows anything about Afghanistan, Pashto people are like the majority in Afghanistan, basically. So like they're kind of like the majority tribe. And Hassan is Hazara. Basically, they are the lower ends of the tribe. Basically, they are kind of like the looked down upon, essentially spit upon tribes, basically. And Hassan is the son of the guy who works for Amir's father as a servant, basically. So, and these two boys become friends. And I'm not going to go into it. There is kind of a brutal scene in one of the flashbacks, so kind of be prepared for. I don't want to say exactly what it is, but it is unnerving what happens, and it goes back and forth, and it's like kind of like it's set in the background of the fall of the Afghan monarchy, the Russian invasion, and basically it's up to the rise of the Taliban, basically. And in present day, Amir finds out that his best friend, right? I believe he finds out his best friend has been killed, right? But but he also finds out that his best friend has a son. So he goes to Afghanistan to basically find and essentially rescue his son out of this hellhole of a country. So it's one of those where it's like, I very much enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the adaptation. I think probably I would say the book is better than the adaptation, but I'd say it's worth at least a watch. And the reason why it's called The Kite Runner is because one of their pastimes growing up was these kite fights. I don't know how best to describe them, basically, because the cords themselves, the rope, like it's not exactly rope. It's like a really sharp, thin steel, something like that. So basically, your whole like goal is basically just to cut other kites down. Basically, like that's like what they would do in those competitions, and that was like, how do I put this? Very much the competition, right? That like people would watch. Again, this is like going back to when they were kids, because that's like part of like hence kind of like part of like the title. How long is it? It's a little over 2 hours. Little over 2 hours. It's so it's not exactly short, but it's not exactly that long either. Basically, and like I said, it goes back and forth from present day to the past and back and so forth. So, and it doesn't shy away from showing how brutal Afghanistan. Well, it still is brutal, but it doesn't shy. It doesn't like try to put Afghanistan in a positive light. It's like, yeah, this shit happened. It's like, so it's like we can't exactly ignore that, and the reason why his friend was killed is because his friend was a Hazara. Basically, it's like when the Taliban takes over, basically anyone who's not Pashtun, you're pretty much fucked. So, especially like Hazaras, Uzbeks, and things like that. So, anyway, that's the Kite Runner. I think, like I said, it's worth at least one watch. I don't know if it's on any streaming service or not. I cannot say. But I don't know. That's my number 9. Is The Kite Runner from obviously 2007, basically, but it's based on a 2003 book. Anyway, my number 8 is probably a movie that would kind of surprise you that I would put as even on my list, because I'm not the type of person that generally gravitates to movies like this. But I overall liked the concept. I liked the characters and so forth. It's like very, very interesting movie in terms of plot and so forth. And that is the 2007 movie Stardust. Right? It is kind of a romantic. It's a fantasy movie, but it's kind of like a romantic fantasy type of movie, basically, because essentially Claire Danes, not essentially, but Claire Danes, all right, is actually a star, a star that's fallen to Earth, basically. So Tristan, he's like a young man in his 20s, basically. He sees the star falling, and he wants to give it to the woman he thinks he loves. He's pretty much a snob, basically. And he feels like if he gives her this fallen star, then she will basically return his unrequited love, essentially, and marry him. So when he goes to collect the star, he finds not a star, but a woman. Because once the star, actually made it to Earth, it kind of takes human form. So basically, that's where the kind of the fantasy adventure part comes into play, because he's found the star, but there are others that want the star too for different reasons, to include witches. All right, witches, where Michelle Pfeiffer is kind of like the lead witch, and these princes, basically. I know one prince is played by Rupert Everett. I think one's also played by Jason Fleming. Anyway, so they're after the star as well, and the princes keep getting bumped off, pretty much as they're trying to get the star. So that's it is a little, it's I think pretty comedic in places. So yeah, Daredevil's in the movie, as Jigabob points out. Charlie Cox is in the movie, right? So if you want to see a young Charlie Cox, Stardust. Robert De Niro is also in the movie.
Peter O'Toole.
What?
I think Peter O'Toole as well.
Yeah. So it's pretty much I wouldn't exactly say a star-studded cast, but it's a who's who cast basically. So it's like I say most. If you do not recognize them by name, you'll recognize them by face.
The author of the book the movie is based on is in trouble. He got called out by J.K. Rowling and stuff. He had been doing some bad things to women.
Oh well, I mean, I never read the book. I just remember enjoying the movie, and if it's on, I'll watch it again, pretty much because
Well, the movie's great.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Princess Bride-ish.
A little bit, yeah, basically. So it's like, yes, it's not exactly the type of movie that I typically gravitate towards, but I very much enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it because it had, yes, there was romance, but it had enough fantasy and enough adventure to kind of like balance that, basically. So it wasn't like pretty much pure romantic slop or anything like that. So yeah, so my number 8 is Stardust. All right.
Well, my number 8 is definitely on your list. I can't imagine it isn't. It's Hot Fuzz.
Yes, it's lower on my list.
It's not number 1, is it?
No, it's not number 1. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about it real quick, and then we'll save bits for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get the leftovers.
Oh, goody.
Now, yeah, Hot Fuzz, an overproductive cop. Makes everyone look bad in London, I think.
Yeah.
So they kind of send him off to a small town away from themselves, and to get rid of him, pretty much. And he starts doing the same thing there. However, murders start happening. All kinds of different murders. And he starts investigating and doesn't really make sense. He suspects Timothy Dalton being the lead, the killer, but then he couldn't have done this one, right? And then it has, well, should I spoil the twist?
Probably not, if people haven't seen it.
Yeah. It has a twist, and it actually makes sense. The twist makes sense, but the reasoning behind it is actually fucked up. So, but it's great. It's awesome. Lots of actually pokes fun at a lot of those English crime shows where they have like Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Where it's been like 20 seasons or something, and there's a new murder in that town every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but full of famous English people. Peter Jackson has a cameo as a Santa.
It's Narp, N-A-R-P, Narp.
Yeah,
Narp.
I thought it was Yarp.
Well, Yarp is he does say Yarp, but when Angel is pretending he's that character on the phone, and he has to say no, he comes up with Narp.
Oh yeah, so it says Yarp for yes.
Yeah, he says Yarp for yes, but there's one scene where it's he's like, now what does this guy say for no?
That's actually the actor who plays the Hound on Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I think he was also in the second of the Jumanji movie reboots as the bad guy, I want to say, but I have to look it up again.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, Hot Fuzz. I'm gonna save stuff for you here. You have it lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 8, Hot Fuzz. Very rewatchable.
Yeah.
And
it's my favorite of what's called the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, it's my favorite too. It's on another level than the rest.
Yeah.
My number 7 is pure fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie called Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen, Paul Giamatti, and Monica Bellucci.
Yep.
It's pistol porn. Every problem solved with a pistol, pretty much.
All right.
Clive Owen, I think he's sitting on a bench eating a carrot. A pregnant prostitute runs by and being chased by people with guns. He kills them and then delivers the baby prostitute dies, and then he starts being hunted because they want that baby.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get milk for the baby, he teams up with Monica Bellucci, who is a lactating prostitute. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Paul Giamatti is the main guy hunting them, and he's nuts in this movie. He steals the show completely. So often, he's almost over the top, but isn't. So it's like he just strikes the right balance.
Mm-hmm.
But lots and lots of shooting, lots of slapstick shooting, I guess. Completely ridiculous. And yes, Anthony's right. He did kill someone with a carrot. He basically, all he has is a gun and a carrot. Keeps eating carrots. The action's superb. I think you'd love this movie, actually, to be honest. But and it's only like an hour and 20 something long, so
That's not long at all.
pure action from start to finish.
Mhm.
There's a scene where Clive Owen drops what seems to be the baby onto the road. Paul Giamatti runs over it and realizes it's a doll, and keeps screaming, "That's fucked up! That's fucked up!" And like, this is coming from the guy who tried to snipe the baby with a sniper rifle earlier, right?
Yeah.
Just 10 minutes earlier. So yeah. But definitely worth a watch for Paul Giamatti alone. It's
yeah,
and it does have a plot and a twist. So there actually is a story in there, and it's not a bad one.
All right, so I'll have to check it out. So Shoot 'Em Up. That's the movie?
Yeah, Shoot 'Em Up. He also
right.
shoots a bunch of people while having sex with Monica Bellucci.
All right. All right, but anyway, okay. Number 7. That's your number 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 7 is, well, might be on your list. I don't know. But it's a remake. It's a movie from the 80s. I can't remember when exactly the original came out. But this one is a remake. It's over the top with the kills. It's, I guess, in terms of like slashers, probably not the best. But it's one of those where it's like, you know what, Sean, like, I just like watch it mainly for Sean Bean's performance. And that is the remake of The Hitcher.
You haven't seen the original?
I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember it well enough to say, like, which one. I imagine the original would have been better. But it's such a long time.
The original is better, but this remake is not bad.
No, it's not bad.
No.
I'm not saying, like, in terms of slashers, it's probably not the best, but it's like, it's not shit. I've seen worse.
Yeah,
I've seen far worse. And the reason why I think it's not as bad as it could be, or one of the big reasons why it's not as bad as it could be, is because of Sean Bean's performance.
Yeah,
like if Sean Bean phoned it in or anything like that, this probably would have been like, closer to shit.
It kind of flips it a bit because in the original, the guy is the main target.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, it's the chick.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from the story at all. It's
no, it's not like, it's like, look at us, women power, things like that. No, they just like, kind of have him going after the female instead of the guy this time around. But the kills are brutal.
Oh, hell yes. And the same in the original, which has Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Doing a 10 out of 10. But Jennifer Jason Leigh is in it too. And what is it?
I was going to say that's one with C. Thomas Howell, right? So so.
Both are good.
And so basically, if you know the original, you basically know the premise of the remake with the with the one exception. But like I said, the kills, it's Sean Bean's performance and the kills, which makes it a decent, I think, slasher movie. I think that the kills themselves they can be over the top. They can be like a little bit over the top, but not in a bad way. Not necessarily in a bad way where it's like it makes you roll your eyes and like, come on, things like that. And it does have rewatchability. And And I don't want to give anything away, basically, but the overall premise is this hitchhiker is psychologically tormenting this young couple that's on a road trip, basically. And there is death along the way, to the point where the young couple is arrested on the belief that they committed some of the murders, right? Which kind of goes from there, pretty much, in terms of the torment and so forth that Sean Bean is inflicting on this couple. Don't want to say too much more because something does happen to the couple, and it is very brutal.
And you're actually never really it's never really explained why.
No, he's just like that. There's no villain backstory or anything like that, or why he does what he does. No, he's just psychotic.
Yep.
I appreciate.
Recommend you watch the original.
Yeah.
As well.
I'm saying I watched the original too, but this, I had to include it on the 2007 list because I do enjoy watching it. It's very brutal, in some parts. He does you don't see it happen. You see the aftermath, but Sean Bean's character does kill a family, which includes children.
Yep. So
it does not shy away from showing that this man is a psychopath.
Yeah.
So if you can't handle anything like that, probably shouldn't watch this movie. But like I said, it does whatever lackluster moments there are in the script in terms of acting and so forth. I'm not saying they're not bad acting necessarily, but it's Sean Bean carries this movie.
Yeah, definitely. In the original, Rutger Hauer steals the show.
Yeah,
but the other actors are also very, very good.
So yeah, it was a remake. A Guy in His Room. Yeah, it's kind of like where I don't think a lot of people know that 13 Ghosts, for example, is a remake. That's when did 13 Ghosts come out?
I've seen the original. It's with the Vincent Price, isn't it?
No, that's not the one. No,
I'm mixing it up with House on Haunted Hill.
Yes, there was a remake of that, but Vincent Price was 2001, and it was early 2000s. I can't remember, but 13 Ghosts is a remake.
Yeah.
And that the 13 Ghosts movie, that was early 60s. William Castle production. I think William Castle also did House on Haunted Hill, I want to say, or maybe it was someone else. But William Castle was known for his gimmicks, basically. When I say gimmicks, I don't just necessarily mean in the movie, but when the movie premieres. For example, there's a movie called The Tingler. Yes, that's the actual name of the movie. It's called The Tingler. Or Tingler, one of the two, basically. But it's this entity, this creature that can kill people, and you can kind of sense that it's there because of the tingling sensation. All right, kind of a thing. And so what William Castle did, I'm most likely butchering the reason, basically, but the movie is Tingler, and what William Castle had theaters do is during a showing of the movie, certain random seats in the theater were rigged with kind of a little electronic buzzer, basically, which would cause a little sensation under the seat, which would cause a tingling sensation in the person sitting on the seat. So at the end of the movie, when you have, I think, Vincent Price saying could you be there, or something, he says something like that along the lines of at the end of the movie, and so forth, they would buzz that seat, and people would just jump the fuck out and just run from the theaters. It's that's what they would do. It's what he would do, gimmicks. And that includes 13 Ghosts, which had you had to if you wanted to, you could wear these glasses. They weren't 3D glasses, but they kind of looked like 3D glasses. And if you chose to look out one color, you would not see the ghosts. If you chose to see out the other color, you could see the ghosts on screen. But that's what he would do. Anyway, but yeah, I don't not too many people know that the movie 13 Ghosts is a remake, because I don't think too many people know about William Castle movies. Oh yeah, definitely would. like, but like that was a time when like you did like you didn't have the easy word of mouth basically that we would now. Otherwise, but again, it worked. Basically, it worked. That was like what he would do to get word of mouth going on his movies. At a time when like, you didn't have social media or anything. Oh yeah, Hills I Have Eyes 2 was 2007 as well. Did not make my list. Anyway, number 7 is The Hitcher. All right. So if you haven't seen it, check it out and watch the original with Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Anyway, I cannot talk. My number 6 is an animated movie. I remember really liking it when it came to theaters because it was a time when this animated series was still good, in my opinion. And that is the Simpsons movie. A lot of shit happens in this movie. It's not easy to kind of summarize the plot, but events transpire. All right. Oh, one of the best things about this movie is that Green Day's barge sinks and the band is kaput. But yeah, it's like it's like events happen. It's kind of like to the environment, which causes the EPA to put Springfield under a glass dome. Oh yeah, Spider Pig. You have to remember, Spider Pig, aka also known as Plopper, the pig that Homer rescues from Krusty the Clown, whose feces, because Homer did not properly dispose of that, is what causes the literal shit to happen. And for the Springfield to be put under a dome. It also has like a little plot in there where it's like with Bart, because he's pretty much fed up with Homer and that and everything that goes along there, to the point where he actually kind of looks at Ned Flanders like a father figure, which is, I remember that was kind of interesting spin on this movie. And this movie was almost not made because it went back to 2001 when the cast agreed to do a movie and they just couldn't hammer down a script, pretty much. So it took like 6 years to get the movie made, only because, like I said, they just they had so many ideas that finally they narrowed it down to Matt Groening's idea. Was what we got in the Simpsons movie. So, but yeah, so it's again, I don't want to say too much because there are other things that happened, and basically the whole thing is can the day be saved so Springfield is no longer in the dome? So yeah, that's number 6, Simpsons movie. And if you know the Simpsons, you know the voice actors. I shouldn't have to go into the voice acting roles for the Simpsons. Basically, you do have cameo actor voices, bigger names like Tom Hanks and so forth, voicing roles in this. But for the most part, the voice acting is from the Simpsons cartoons, pretty much. Right? Anyway, that's the Simpsons movie, my number 6.
Yeah, I've actually never watched The Simpsons.
I think it's when Simpsons I think was so good.
Yeah, it's something
more again, it's not for everyone. I enjoyed The Simpsons for the most part. I think other shows are slightly better, but I think it's when The Simpsons are still pretty good. Before they got way too political.
We just never had the channel that showed it when I was growing up, and the only Simpsons product I consumed was a video game called Bart versus the Space Mutants, which was a good game actually. Platform thing. But yeah. My turn with number 6, I think.
Yeah.
My number 6, I just rewatched it an hour ago, is Planet Terror, which is the Robert Rodriguez part of the Grindhouse duology. Tarantino made the other one.
Yeah.
It was released as a double feature. This one, though, is a over-the-top crazy zombie thing with a hell of a cast. Rosie McDowell? No, McGowan. Rosie McGowan plays a stripper who's just quit, then loses a leg during a zombie breakout, kind of caused by Bruce Willis, who got infected when he killed Bin Laden. It's got Michael Biehn, Jeff Fahey is in it, Josh Brolin is in it, Tarantino. It goes haywire, and it's brutal. You're gonna laugh your ass off it quite a few times, but it's also nasty, so don't watch it when you eat. Also, kind of, it looks like it's filmed with a really shit, video camera in a way, because it looks like an old grindhouse cinema reel, doesn't it? Yeah, and the chick replaces her leg with a machine gun, which fires when she spins around. Doesn't even have to pull the trigger. So, yeah, it's hysterical. I'm not sure if have you seen it?
Grindhouse?
Well, Planet Terror, because Grindhouse.
Oh yeah.
Is
Well, it's kind of like listed as one. I've seen both. I did not like Planet Terror. I prefer Death Proof.
Yeah, it got split in two later, so I just figured I'd pick one of them.
But when the movie came out in theaters, when it was released in theaters, like you went as a double feature.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like when you look it up in 2007, it's listed as just Grindhouse.
Yeah.
And then it was split up.
It's cheesy, fun, nasty, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I prefer Death Proof. I think Death Proof is the better of the two.
Oh, Death Proof has a better story and a better plot, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
This is more entertaining.
So
I guess. But yeah. And my number 5 is another, well, horror-ish. The Mist.
Did not make my list. There were a couple things in it that I'm like, fuck you, Stephen King.
Yeah, the ending.
Well, not the ending. The ending, yeah, as fucked up as it is, I don't mind the ending. It's more to the characters, to the character elements in the movie that I'm like, fuck you, Stephen King.
Oh, well, small town gets covered in mist.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out there's something in the mist, and they hole up at the local mall. And
yeah, Trey, I fucking hate the religious lady. I fucking hate her.
Yeah, me too. Great actress.
Yeah, great actress, but I hate the character. If I were in that situation, I would have like basically just bludgeoned her with a can of beans.
Yeah, she basically does harm.
Yeah, she does
a lot of harm. But yeah, people start getting picked off one by one by creatures that are in the mist, and it looks like something's gone wrong with a military facility up in the hills.
That's another element. I was like, oh my god, really? Could it be just supernatural? No, you had to have the military fucking with shit.
Yeah. But anyway, survival in a mall. I guess a little bit.
It was more of a grocery store, basically, but they were pinned there, so.
Yeah, so little bit like Dawn of the Dead, kind of.
Yeah.
And then, a really fucked up ending. It's a good ending.
The ending was fucked up. I was like, the movie itself, I don't hate. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but it's like I don't like. It's not like I don't like it. It's just there's elements to it where I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have rewatchability for me because I can't look past it.
Yeah.
So if it didn't have those elements and it was just a survival movie, I would be like, hey, yeah, it's actually a decent adaptation of whatever Stephen King wrote.
Yeah. But it for me it's rewatchable though, despite that crap. But you have a point.
Well, I'm saying that's me personal. Like, if people like it, I'm not like trying to say don't take my point as it's like this is like no, you watch it. I don't care. This almost made my list, Gravy, but this is one of the movies kind of like with Gangs of New York where it's like a one and done for a while.
Yeah.
after watching it. So I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, the rewatchability is not quite there.
No, it's kind of you watch it and then wait 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway, The Mist is for me
Mhm.
very rewatchable.
Yeah. So
And I do like those a bunch of people having to survive against
mhm.
something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if they just left it as like supernatural or unexplained, and it's just a survival movie,
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, decent supernatural survival movie. Fucked up ending, but decent survival movie.
Yeah.
So
And the fucked up ending is not bad. It's actually awesome, but you'll get kind of pissed, you know.
kind of,
But it is believable.
yeah, it is. So
But yeah, that was my number 5.
all right. So my number 5. I don't know how many people have seen this movie. I'm not saying necessarily that it's a an unknown movie, but it probably flew under the radar a little bit for most people. And I really like the movie. It is dry British humor. So if that's not your taste, probably would not find this movie funny. It's a movie that's directed by Frank Oz, and that is a movie called Death at a Funeral.
Oh, I've isn't that is it the original or the remake?
It's the original, because there was a remake with Chris Rock, and basically where it takes it from a British comedy to setting it in America and having the family, instead of be white, be black. So
Yeah, that one was fun too.
I overall enjoyed the remake, but I think I like the original a bit better.
Yeah,
Um.
it is better.
So yeah. So I'm not saying necessarily it was unknown, but might have flown under the radar for some people. But it's Death at a Funeral.
It's actually big in Europe.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Basically, I think in America probably did fly under the radar. Because it's like not like it's not that people don't watch British comedies, but when you have it like coming out at a time when Transformers is coming out, and so forth, movies like that, gets kind of like pushed to the side. But anyway, so it's directed by Frank Oz. It's a British comedy, and the premise is the patriarch of the family, the father, has died. And so you have two sons, Daniel and Robert. Daniel is the Robert is the more wealthy of the two. He's more famous because he's an author. And Daniel is he's the normal one. When I say normal one, I mean average, income, things like that. He's not poor, but he's not as wealthy as his brother. And so it falls on Daniel to pay for the funeral because his brother refuses to pay for it. And on top of that, Daniel is struggling to complete his eulogy because he's trying to find the words to express, his father, life and so forth. And then you have the arrival of all the other family members. I think my favorite part in the movie is because I love Alan Tudyk as an actor. I love him as an actor. And he arrives, right? He arrives with his wife, and his Alan Tudyk's character's wife is the cousin of Daniel, basically. So that's how he's related to Daniel, and he's really nervous because it's the first time he's meeting. He's engaged. He's fiance, basically. So basically, he's meeting his fiance's father for the first time, and it happens to be at a funeral. So he's really nervous, and so to calm his nerves, Martha gives him what she believes to be a Valium, but it turns out, because she thought it was a Valium, but it turns out it's like an hallucinogenic drug, manufactured by her brother. So you have Daniel trying to get the eulogy written and to get the funeral underway. Alan Tudyk's character, Simon, who's now in a drug state, effectively, he's hallucinating, he's high, and at one point he gets naked and goes on the roof. And all of this mayhem is happening along with the arrival of an American named Peter, I believe, played by Peter Dinklage. Okay, a time when Peter Dinklage wasn't a complete ass or known to be a complete ass, who wants to speak to Daniel and Robert privately because there's something that he wants to tell them regarding their father, which I don't want to say because it is a little bit of a twist, and it is a pretty fucking funny moment when the revelation happens.
He actually plays the same character in the remake.
Yeah. So,
which is unusual.
So, kind of is, yeah, but it kind of worked. Hey, Teresa. And, so yeah, it's pretty much like what could possibly go wrong does. Over the course of, like, not even a day, basically, but, like, try to, like, you know, get this, like, you know, have the funeral for the patriarch in this British family. That's it. It's like, what could possibly go wrong? But I like it because I've always liked British comedy. I like the dry wits and so forth. And a lot of it, like, you know, a lot of the humor is in the dialogue. There's some situational humor, but, like, a lot of it's in the dialogue, which is what I appreciate. And so I would just put it slightly above the remake. The remake is enjoyable. There are some parts in it where I'm like, okay. But it's not a bad remake. I've seen worse remakes. I've seen far worse remakes.
Danny Glover scene is fucked up.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, there's some parts where I'm like, but for the most part, it is a decent remake. I just put the original above. Yeah. And I love it. I love Death at the Funeral, so I had to put it on my list. It's number 5. All right, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Again, if British humor is not your thing, probably would not find it funny, but I love it. So my number 4 is another animated movie. I love it. It's a Pixar film, and it's probably one of my favorite Pixar films. Back when Pixar, at least still had the creativity engine behind it, right? Before Disney essentially completely took over and so forth, and that is Ratatouille. So yeah, Ratatouille. So basically, the premise is you have a rat named Remy, voiced by Patton Oswalt, right? Who's a complete ass. But moving past that, for the movie, like, he voices this rat named Remy, and does a really good job in the voice acting. And it's discovered early on in the movie that Remy has a certain ability that most rats don't have, and that is the ability to discern whether or not a food has been poisoned or not. He has, like, a very, very good sense of smell. So, but unlike the rats in the colony, he loves food, and he loves it to a point where he wants to actually learn how to make food. And so he'll sneak away sometimes from the colony because he's like, the house is owned and lived in by this old woman who watches this cooking show in the evening, where it's like, you know, with Chef Gustav, who wrote a book, and Remy wants to emulate this chef. He wants to learn. He wants to be able to create. He just doesn't want to live as a rat anymore. So, and he can talk, yeah. Well, the other rats can talk too, but he walks upright. So he'll walk on his back legs, where the other rats will walk like rats. So he walks like he's bipedal, and he has an incredible sense of smell. All right. So the other rats can talk. It's just those two things, like, sets him apart from the other rats in the colony, that's run by his dad. And in the process of having to escape, because the old woman finds the nest, Remy is separated from his family and ends up in Paris, where certain course of events puts him with, I don't want to call him a kid, but a young man named Linguini, whose mother asked the chef at Gustav is dead, by the way. All right. or Gusteau, not Gustav. Gusteau has died, and so the restaurant is run by his former partner. And so Linguini's mom asks him to give Linguini a job, and through the course of the evening and so forth, it's just because Linguini can't kill Remy. All right, I'm skipping over some stuff basically, but the point is, they eventually figure out that Remy can actually control Linguini, control his movements and so forth, to recreate the soup that Remy created in one evening, and so forth. And yeah, he basically acts like Remy is the chef, but he has to control Linguini to do it. And was it Peter O'Toole? Does he voice? Oh, what's the critic's name? I love the food critic in the movie. I think it's Peter O'Toole who voiced him. I can't remember his name. Well, without looking it up, I can't remember basically, but I love the critic. And you actually kind of get where he's coming from. All right? Anton Ego. Thank you. He's you kind of get where he's coming from, at least a little bit. It's like he is very arrogant. But like, you know, he's good at his job. Like, and he knows food. I want to say is it Peter O'Toole that voices him? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, Ratatouille. There's a lot that happens in the plot, and yeah, okay, I'm right. It's Peter O'Toole. Thank you. I knew it's like couldn't remember if I was right or not. A lot happens in this movie, but I think it's one of Pixar's best. Voice acting is really good. You do have a quote unquote strong female character, but you know, like she's not overbearing or anything like that. So, and she does have develop a good relationship with Linguini and so forth. I like the other characters in the kitchen. They all have different personalities and different backgrounds. So which makes it kind of funny in the kitchen scenes. And yeah, I mean, I'm skipping over a lot of stuff, but again, I don't want to risk spoiling anything if you have not seen it. Anyway, Ratatouille is my number 4.
Well, it's my turn, right?
Yes.
My number four is a remake, a Western, 3:10 to Yuma. Remake of a classic. I actually prefer the remake. It has Christian Bale and Russell Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other ones too. Ben Foster being really good in this. But yeah, Russell Crowe is a gunslinger outlaw, gets arrested, and he needs to be taken to the 3:10 train to Yuma,
Mm-hmm.
in another town. Christian Bale is the only one who has the balls to take him there, and he's a farmer. He needs the money. He's not a gunslinger or anything. He's doing it for his family. Crowe is excellent in this. He plays a baddie, but he's not quite a baddie because he starts liking Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Bale is excellent as always, really, and the two of them have excellent chemistry. Quite a bit of shooting in it. Very tense near the end because the train is there and Crowe's old gang is trying to free Crowe by killing Bale. And I think Crowe agrees that he's not going to resist, and because he wants to see if Bale can get him to the train. After a while, he resists at first. It's a damn good movie. I think you'd really enjoy this, to be honest.
It did not make my list. I do enjoy it, but
Yeah.
I had to narrow it down from 65 movies from 2007 that I've seen to 10.
Yeah.
So
in the 2000s, they did quite a few westerns, and then it kind of died down a bit. But so it had a little bit of a resurrection, that genre in the 2000s. And this was one of the better ones. for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, damn good Western. And I grew up with Westerns, so I eat them up. But yeah, this I was pleasantly surprised about this one. Really, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, 310 to Yuma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And number three, um, pure campy fun movie. This does not stick to the source material well at all, but it's Transformers. The first one of the Michael Bay Transformers. Uh, it pisses on the source material. I don't get why they didn't stick with the original look of the Transformers and stuff like that. But at the time, it was awesome to see Transformers live on screen
Mm-hmm.
because it was an amazing achievement to make them look as real as they did, right? And they got Peter Cullen to voice Optimus Prime. Why they did not get Frank Welker to do Megatron, I don't know, but Hugo Weaving did a good job too.
Yeah.
Starring Shia LaBeouf, and this was probably where Megan Fox became a big name for a while because of a
Yes.
certain half shot.
Yeah.
It's got the great Bernie Mac in there as the guy who sells them Bumblebee, who should have been a Beetle, but he's a Camaro in it. So I'm wondering if
Well, I think it was like it was like as a joke because I think he started out as a Beetle.
no,
Didn't he start out as a Beetle and then like changed?
there was a Beetle next to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember like there was like an allusion to that.
Yeah, he basically just upgraded himself to a better Camaro later on.
Yeah.
But fun campy movie, special effects galore. But this one isn't horrible. The rest of them get worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was okay. But like I said, it does not stick to the source material. The Transformers should have arrived on their arc, right?
Yeah.
Like they did in the cartoon, and I've been there all. And the Bumblebee movie ties into this, which makes it a plot hole because that one takes place in the 80s, and Bumblebee is a Beetle in that one. But Optimus Prime is already there at the end of that movie, which doesn't work because he arrived in this one.
Yeah. So it doesn't quite work.
But I think most people will say that this one is okay. The rest isn't because it just goes too goofball, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much.
But I keep rewatching it, so I had to put it on.
All right, fair enough.
The best movie is still Transformers the movie from '86.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 3.
Yeah.
I know what your number 2 is.
We'll see if you can guess. But I gotta do it for my number 3, which is Hot Fuzz, which I'm gonna be really fast about it.
Yeah, I thought Hot Fuzz was your number 2.
Nope, it's number 3. So Hot Fuzz. So 2 movies slightly beat it, but like I said, Hot Fuzz is the best of the Cornetto trilogy. And for those who do not know what I mean by Cornetto trilogy, they're each movie, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End is connected in a way with these Cornetto ice cream cones. Basically, when I say that, I mean like they show up in the movie. So in the first Shaun of the Dead, it has a red label, basically, to because it's a zombie movie. So it's like red for blood, things like that. And Hot Fuzz is blue for cops, things like that, an allusion to that. And at World's End, it's green, basically. So that's kind of like, what connects loosely, quote unquote, these movies. That's why they're called the Cornetto trilogy. But Hot Fuzz is, I believe, the best of the 3 movies from Edgar Wright. And like Steve said, follows, Simon Pegg plays a character named Nicholas Angel, who is just incredibly good at his job, to the point where it's like he lives, sleeps, and breathes being a cop. And so, because he's so good at his job, he makes all the others look bad in London. So they basically just have him pack up and go to this little sleepy hamlet. It's Stanford, Gloucestershire, basically. Like a kind of basically like a small town out in the country. So he's basically kind of big city cop. Now is small time crime in this, like, how do I put it, town? I'm not sure what he would call it, what the terminology is.
It is a town.
I'm saying, but I don't know if it was like
village.
Village, I guess. So it's like Nick Frost plays Danny Butterman, who's kind of like becomes his, I don't want to say sidekick basically, but his partner within the police department. And Danny is the son of the police chief. Oh, why am I blanking on that actor's name? Because I've seen that. I know the police chief actor more from the Bridget Jones movies, but he's been in other films.
Yeah, Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, it's, and then you have Timothy Dalton, who owns the supermarkets in town, and basically all the other villagers, and things start happening. Basically, deaths. I'm just gonna say deaths start happening, and they're all chalked up to accidents. And Angel, like, he's starting to look at them going, no, there's no way that these were accidents. So, but he's the only one, because everyone else has kind of been, like, lulled into complacency in a sense, because, like, if it looks like an accident, they just don't want to do the work. And stuff happens, and so now the twist happens. I don't want to say what the twist is. And it has one of the most awesome ending scenarios in movies. Again, I don't want to say what it is, because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like one of the best like endings in movies. So yeah, it's like basically a colorful cast of characters, literally, in this movie. So I had to put it on my list, Hot Fuzz. My number 2, all right. My number 2, and I know I always say, don't get your history from Hollywood. However, if you know anyone that watches this movie as if it's supposed to be historically accurate, I suggest you call them a retard and punch them in the face. Because this movie is not meant to be historically accurate, because it's based on a graphic novel. And that is 300.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to say too much, but it's based on a graphic novel. It is basically historical fantasy. It is literally historical fantasy. There's only 3 things that I can say off the top of my head that are actually historically accurate, right? That are actually historically accurate, or at least 2 historically accurate, basically. One where that's credited, right? How would I rank the Cornetto trilogy? Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, at World's End. That order. And that is showing the 300 Spartans in Thermopylae, right? That did actually happen, okay? And it wasn't just the Spartans fighting, because the other Greeks were fighting too. We just did not see that in this movie because the focus was on the 300 Spartans, hence the title. But there was a naval battle happening as well, and like I said, other Greeks were fighting the Persians too.
That's covered in the sequel.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it's like, but in the first one, you would think that's just the Spartans fighting. No, but it is accurate. The Spartans did hold. Basically, the Spartans knew that they were going to their deaths, but they knew that they had to hold the Persians at Thermopylae to buy the rest of Greece some time. All right. So basically, it was a suicide mission. They knew it was a suicide mission. They knew no one was coming back from what they were going to do, but they had to do it, right? That's historically accurate, okay? The second thing is historically accurate, not in terms of looks, but they were actually portrayed. There was a traitor who showed not in the Spartan army, but who showed the Persians the back way around, right? So that the Persians could basically rout the Spartans at Thermopylae. That actually did happen. Now he wasn't a hunchback, deformed hunchback by any means. Like, it's not like, known exactly what he looks like, but it's not written that he's a hunchback or anything like that. But he he did betray the Spartans. So that actually did happen. And now, when I say this is credited, it's not exactly known if he actually did say this or not. But in the movie where Leonidas says, "Come and get them," to the Persians, like, you want our weapons, come and get them. The real Leonidas is actually credited with saying that. Right? To the point where, like, that's actually for one of the Greek units, Greek military units, Molon Labe. You see that Molon Labe? That's come and get them. All right? It's credited back to Leonidas. Everything else is fantasy. Everything else is fantasy. Yeah, he said that. He's credited with saying that. Now, did he actually say that? I cannot attest to that because this is a long time ago. But he is credited with saying it. All right? So chances are he did. I don't know. But he said it. Or at least, like, that is accurate. He did, like, he is credited with saying that. So when you see her in the movie, "Come and Get Them," that is actually credited to Leonidas. But everything else is historical fantasy. It's based on a graphic novel. But I love it. I love it. I love it as pure exaggeration and fantasy. You have Gerard Butler as Leonidas. David Wenham, aka Faramir, is in this as well.
I bet you
Michael Fassbender is in it.
I bet you Trey is wrong with this because he's also in Van Helsing. Trey said his only.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was in Van Helsing. He was a friar. Because the running joke was, "But you're a monk." Well, actually, I'm a friar. So it's like, yeah. So, but basically, like, it's like most of the cast, with the exception of Gerard, at least of the Spartans, most other than David Wenham and Gerard Butler, most weren't well known or didn't become well known until later. Like Michael Fassbender, he's in 300, but he didn't exactly break out in in terms of known as an actor until later. See. The only other thing I can think of that was, which I can accept even though it's an historical inaccuracy, was the plume on Leonidas' helmet. The Spartans didn't have plumes on their helmets, but I get the reason why it was included, so that way he could be easily spotted in the fighting scenes. So if you see the plume, that's Leonidas. That's but even though it's historically inaccurate, I understand why they did that.
It's an awesome movie though.
Yeah. So I'm saying, even if you don't recognize the actors by names, basically you recognize them by their faces. So they were quite well-known actors in this movie, or either who well-known at the time or became well-known later in their careers. But yeah, so 300 is my number 2.
Written by the same guy who wrote Sin City, I believe.
Yeah.
Which and both sequels, Sin City and 300 has Eva Green in it.
Oh yeah, the sequel. Yeah, I forgot the sequel has Eva Green.
Yeah, she's the only good part in that sequel, really.
Pretty much.
She is freaking awesome.
Okay. All right, try to guess what my number 1 is, chat. But you're number 2.
Oh, it's Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Right.
I had to put it on because I keep rewatching that trilogy. I'm a sucker for old ships and stuff. I'd say it has a satisfying ending, this movie, but it also has a lot of scenes that are unnecessary. Like, when they're picking the Pirate King, which is going to get all the pirates to fight in the end, right? Only one ship fights. The rest are they don't do anything. So what was the freaking point? Yeah. Right? That was 20 minutes wasted. But it concludes a trilogy that's very good overall. And revived pirates on screen, really. They hadn't really had pirates hadn't had a hit for 50 years, I guess.
Roughly, yeah.
But pure entertainment, a lot of fun. Sadly, Johnny Depp got turned into a goofball in 2 and 3 because he was actually competent in the first one.
Yeah,
He
I
was a
did like his
real-
performance. I did
Yeah.
like his performance, but yeah, they did kind of dumb him down
Yeah,
for comedic purposes in the second and third ones.
they went for slapstick and gags with him rather than him being just, he was weird in the first one.
He was
but
eccentric.
but
Yeah,
he was
he was like eccentric in that. Like one of his best lines was a comeback line where he's like, "You're undoubtedly the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me."
Yep.
So
But,
he was eccentric, but he was competent. Like he knew how to man a ship and things like that. So
Yeah. And he actually had a plan with stuff. Even though he said he made it up, he really didn't.
no, he knew what he did. It looked like he didn't know what he was doing, but he actually did know what he was doing.
Yeah. So I had to put it in, and I had to put it up high because I keep rewatching that trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trilogy overall is good. Like the third one is I think the weakest of the three.
Yeah.
It pretty much goes 1, 2, 3 in terms of like it kind of goes downhill after the first one, but overall a solid trilogy.
Yeah. They actually didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
The 2 sequels were unnecessary, even though they're watchable. But yeah, they were milking the cow with the last 2, I think.
Yeah.
But 3 is solid trilogy. The whole trilogy, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean 3. And my number 1 we've already talked about, so it's fine. It's
All right.
300.
Okay. My number 1. So not to specifically call anyone out, but I know it is not Trick or Treat because that's actually 2008. It's not No Country or anything like that, and it sure as fuck not Harry Potter. My number 1 and goes into facets of my personality where I absolutely love watching and reading true crime.
You should have made a joke there and said it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I probably should have, but goes into my love of true crime. Basically, I don't like. There are like a couple channels that I will put on, not necessarily religiously, but I love them, and that's Investigation Discovery and a channel. I don't know like how many have it, but it's like HLN. I can't remember what it stands for, but they have a show called Forensic Files. They air like old episodes of Forensic Files that I love watching and so forth. But I love true crime, and so I had to include this movie because I remember when I watched it, I still love it. But I going back to when I first watched it, and I was like, this is actually, I think, a really good movie. Do they exaggerate some things? Yes. Do they embellish some things? Yes. But overall, still a really good movie, and that is Zodiac.
That one is on my list of stuff to watch soon.
Yes, it is. I think it's on the long side as far as movies go, but it details Jake Gyllenhaal. I can't remember what the author's name is. Hold on, I gotta look it up real fast because he plays the actual author. Let's see, what is the author's name? Robert Graysmith. Robert Graysmith, basically. All right, so this kind of follows. It kind of it does follow the Zodiac killer, the killings, right? But it's kind of also from the perspective of the character played by Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Graysmith, who ends up writing 2 books about the Zodiac killer. One detailing the crimes and so forth because it was one of the most infamous unsolved serial killer cases, and then a follow-up book because it was through advancements in technology with forensics, it was determined who the killer was. Basically, don't want to say who it is. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo is in it. I cannot stand him nowadays, but he is very good in the role in Zodiac. Robert Downey Jr. is in it as well. And so Robert Graysmith, he's a cartoonist. He's working as a cartoonist at this time, but he's fascinated with what's happening. So he actually kind of takes him upon himself to try to solve these crimes, almost like he turns himself into this amateur detective. And so he's trying to piece all these different elements together to see if he can figure out who the Zodiac killer is. And there's one scene that's really tense. Really tense. They nail the atmosphere and everything. And at least when I was watching, I was on the edge of my seat, what's going to happen? So anything's going to happen, and so forth. They really do a good job. And Robert Downey Jr. plays a newspaper reporter who's also a drunkard, but really good performance. I'm gonna say the character's also a drunkard, really good performance in this movie. Mark Ruffalo is a detective, who begrudgingly kind of works with Robert Graysmith, but at the same time, it's doesn't like the fact that Robert Graysmith is trying to solve this, because when you have a civilian trying to do shit, it kind of gets in the way. So you understand his frustration. And it is, like I said, it's on the long side. It's 2.5 hours long, but I really like it. I really like it because I kind of love, true crime. Like I said, true crime, serial killer, reading about serial killers and so forth. And I find they still make the Zodiac killer fascinating in this movie, because there's no rhyme or reason to why he's doing what he's doing. He's just pure psychopath. But as at a time where there really wasn't advancements in forensic science, so they only could only go with the technology they had at the time, which was very limited, not limited, but much more limited than it is nowadays, and so forth. And part of the reason why it took so long to solve this is because one of the suspects passed a lie detector test. They were passed lie detector tests, which showed that those could be manipulated as well. So it's they had no way to pin it on anyone at the time. No clear evidence or anything. And it's very psychological. Yes, you do kind of see the Zodiac killer's crimes because it is called the Zodiac, but that's not entirely the focus. It's it doesn't really focus on the gore or anything like that, or the actual killings. It's more or less like the cat and mouse game of trying to solve this case and so forth. I think you might like it, Steve. If you ever get around to watching it, I think you might like it.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I will.
Yeah. So yeah, but I actually want to rewatch it. I just discovered that it's on Netflix. So someone I'm going to rewatch it. But it's one of my favorite true crime movies. So yeah. So sorry, Trey. I just remember that Trick or Treat is 2008 when it's actually officially released.
Well, it's not a proper stream unless Trey gets one of them wrong.
Sorry, Trey. It's kind of gotten to a point where it's I'm correcting you on at least one thing.
Yeah.
So Trick or Treat will be on my 2008 list, but it wasn't 2007. That's why I say, Wikipedia should not necessarily be the end all be all, but IMDb will. If you search the movie on IMDb, the first year you see at the top of the screen is not necessarily the official release year. It's when it was sometimes it's a year where it was just released into film festivals.
Yeah.
You have to scroll down. You can use IMDb, but you have to scroll down to the bottom for release dates. And you still see in America 2008. So remember because I didn't realize it was released. And then I ended up watching it. Or maybe it's 2009. Maybe it's actually 2009. Hold on. I just know it's not 2007. I'm trying to just, see. Oh, come on, stupid Wikipedia. I remember I was in Afghanistan when I watched a copy of it. Yeah, 2009. Let's see. Yeah, 2009. So it did not get an official release until 2009. I knew it was after 2007. But it did not get an official release until 2009, and I watched a copy in Afghanistan. So, and I liked it so much that I actually bought the DVD for it. So, which is a rarity. So, anyway, but that's my top 10 list, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure next year we'll all have the same number one. Because I looked at 2008.
So, let me see.
The Dark Knight.
So, likely will not be my number one because I'm not as big of a fan of it as other people.
I like Batman Begins more, actually.
So,
but
yeah, I have to go through the 2008 movies. Let's see, which one will end up being my number one. But I can say that chances are Dark Knight will be on the list, but it won't be my number one.
There's a lot of good stuff in 2008. I'm just looking at it now.
Yep. So we'll see.
That's when the superhero craze really started taking off.
Pretty much. But anyway, chat. That is it for the top 10 2007 films.
Yep.
But anyway. So, before I give my outro, Stig, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
I think the next stream I'll be on is with Teresa. We're doing like a monthly Western thing where she picks a movie and then next month I pick one for the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's her pick this time and it's A Fistful of Dollars.
Okay.
So stay tuned if you want to talk about A Fistful of Dollars with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be back here in a month.
Yep. I'll figure out which Wednesday it'll be. Because it'll either be the first Wednesday or the second Wednesday, depending on
my sleep schedules.
Yes, schedules, basically.
Yeah, I've only forgotten about it once. And so it's pretty, Remember I did that? I completely forgot about it.
Yeah. Because I asked you. I was like,
Yeah, I was playing Red Dead Redemption. And then I noticed a message saying, "Are you coming?" I'm like, that was 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
No, forgot about it. I was robbing a stagecoach and stuff.
So it'll either be March 4th or the 11th, because there's only 4 Wednesdays in March. So it's either going to be the 4th or the 11th.
Yeah.
Probably chances are the 11th, but still relatively early in the month. Yeah, so as far as May chats, I'll be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern with reading chapters 22 through 24 of Halo: The Fall of Reach. So I'll be, at that point, I'll be about 2/3, I'd say, through the Halo book or close to it. We're seeing the Spartans we've seen the Spartans in action, but we're kind of seeing them as we know them as Blue Team in action in the chapters we're on. No stream Friday. Might try to stream Saturday afternoon. I don't know. But we'll we'll see. Depends on how I feel. And I'll be doing a watch party later on in the evening of the remake of My Bloody Valentine, which I think is better than the original. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, and then Talk Nerdy to Us will be, unless anything changes, will be on my channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for this coming Sunday with my nerdy home. Talk Nerdy to Us. So I'll come up with topics, and yeah. And then back to Borderlands. Beginning, I've returned to Borderlands, basically, but continuing with Borderlands until Resident Evil 9 drops, which will be in roughly 2 weeks from this coming Friday, I believe. I'll be playing the new Resident Evil game. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all tomorrow evening for some more, reading some more chapters in Halo: The Fall of Reach. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.